Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we explore the strange discoveries, unsettling mysteries, and unanswered questions that science is still struggling to explain. Today's topic takes us far beyond Earth, to a place we once believed was completely dead, silent, and lifeless. Mars. For decades, Mars was described as nothing more than a frozen desert, or red planet stripped of its atmosphere, its water, and its chance at life billions of years ago. A place scientists assumed was geologically inactive, biologically sterile, and essentially finished. But over the last few decades, that picture has begun to fall apart. Piece by piece, discovery by discovery, Mars has revealed itself to be far more complex and far more disturbing than anyone expected, because the deeper scientists look, the more they find things they cannot fully explain. Let's begin with one of the strangest visual anomalies ever captured on the Martian surface. In 2019, NASA's Curiosity rover captured a series of images that stopped researchers in their tracks. On the distant Martian horizon, a sudden bright flash of light appeared. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't faint. It looked like a focused beam shooting upward from the surface. At first, scientists assumed it had to be a glitch, a camera error, a cosmic ray striking the sensor, something simple. But the problem was, it didn't behave like a glitch. The light appeared in multiple images, taken at different times from slightly different angles, and it didn't match known patterns caused by cosmic radiation. Researchers analyzed the area where the light appeared. There were no reflective metal surfaces, no ice deposits that could cause sudden reflections, no known atmospheric effects capable of producing such a beam. Mars doesn't have lightning storms like Earth. It doesn't have an atmosphere dense enough to support conventional electrical discharges. And yet, the light appeared anyway. Scientists offered cautious explanation. Some suggested it could be sunlight reflecting off something unusually smooth. Others proposed exotic electrical interactions within the Martian soil, but none of the explanations fully accounted for the intensity, direction, or repetition of the phenomenon. Officially, NASA labeled it an anomalous light reflection. Unofficially, it remains one of the most unsettling images ever taken by a Mars rover, but strange lights weren't the first thing to shake public confidence in Mars as a lifeless world. Back in 1976, when the Viking 1 orbiter sent back images from the Sinonia region, one photograph caused an explosion of speculation that still hasn't fully died down. The image showed a massive landform that looked eerily like a human face, two eye-like depressions, a nose ridge, a mouth-like shadow. The proportions were disturbingly familiar. NASA initially dismissed it as a trick of light and shadow too, a natural mesa viewed from a specific angle. But the image had already gone public, and people couldn't unsee it. When later missions returned to the area with higher resolution cameras, the structure was still there. More eroded, yes, less dramatic, but the symmetry remained. Geologists insist it's natural, and they may be right. But several independent researchers pointed out that the face-like structure appeared aligned with other nearby formations in geometric patterns that felt intentional. Even if it's coincidence, it's an uncanny one, and it marked the moment Mars transformed in the public imagination from a boring rock into a planet with potential secrets buried beneath its dust. Then came the methane. In 2013, Curiosity detected something no one expected: a sudden spike of methane gas in the Martian atmosphere. Methane is important because on Earth, the vast majority of it is produced by living organisms. It can also be produced by geological processes, but Mars doesn't have the known conditions to generate methane in large quantities. The spike wasn't subtle. It was about 10 times higher than normal background levels. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished. Over the following years, this pattern repeated. Seasonal bursts of methane WS. Sudden increases followed by rapid disappearance. NASA and the European Space Agency tried coordinating orbiters and surface instruments to track it. But the results only made things more confusing. Sometimes orbiters detected methane when rovers didn't. Sometimes rovers detected it when orbiters saw nothing. The source remains unknown. One theory suggests methane could be trapped underground, sealed away for millions of years, and released through cracks in the surface. But that raises another unsettling question. If methane is being released now, something beneath Mars is still active. Whether that activity is geological or biological is still an open question. Scientists have openly admitted they cannot explain the source or behavior of the methane. And methane isn't the only invisible anomaly. Mars lost its global magnetic field billions of years ago. Without it, solar radiation stripped away the planet's atmosphere, turning it into the cold desert we see today. But data from the Mars Global Surveyor revealed something unexpected. Patches of the Martian crust are intensely magnetized, in some areas dozens of times stronger than scientists predicted. These magnetic anomalies don't align neatly with known geological structures. Even stranger, many of the strongest magnetic regions overlap with areas where scientists have found evidence of ancient flowing water, rivers, lakes, possibly even oceans. Some researchers believe this suggests Mars once had a much stronger magnetic core than previously thought. Others quietly wonder whether these magnetic signatures could be linked to something artificial, relics of structures buried deep beneath the surface. Officially, NASA attributes them to remnants of Mars's ancient dynamo, but the precise patterns and intensity remain unexplained. In 2022, Curiosity captured another image that sent social media into a frenzy. On the side of a Martian ridge, a perfectly rectangular opening appeared. Straight edges, clean lines, a shadowed interior. It looked exactly like a doorway carved into the rock. NASA quickly responded, explaining that the opening was small, only about a foot tall, and likely caused by natural rock fractures. But many weren't convinced. The cut looked too clean, too geometric. The surrounding rock layers didn't show signs of random erosion. Geologists suggested tectonic stress or collapse of a rock layer, but others pointed out that the area showed no evidence of recent seismic activity. Even if it's natural, the resemblance to an artificial structure is unsettling. It's a reminder that alien landscapes can sometimes mimic intelligent design in ways that feel deeply uncomfortable. Then there was the radio signal. In 2019, Earth-based telescopes associated with the Breakthrough Listen project detected a strange narrowband radio signal coming from the direction of Mars. Narrowband signals are interesting because they don't typically occur in natural cosmic noise. They're the kind of signals humans use for communication. The signal was focused, stable, and lasted several minutes. At first, researchers assumed it had to be interference from Earth-based technology or satellites, but extensive checks failed to find a matching source. The signal wasn't immediately made public. It was analyzed quietly for months. Eventually, scientists concluded it was most likely an unknown form of radio interference, but they never identified its origin. The fact that it appeared to align with Mars at the time of detection ensured it would never fully fade from speculation. High-resolution satellite imagery has also revealed long, translucent, tube-like structures stretching across parts of the Martian surface. First spotted in the early 2000s, these formations look like giant tunnels or collapsed tubes, some running in straight lines for great distances. NASA explains them as surface channels formed by carbon dioxide gas erupting beneath ice layers, but some independent researchers aren't convinced. The tubes appear to curve smoothly, intersect, and maintain consistent widths, traits that don't always align with chaotic natural processes. Even stranger is their reflectivity. The surfaces reflect light in ways that suggest smooth or glass-like material. Whether these are natural formations or something more unusual, they're still actively studied. Then there's the image that reignited fossil speculation. In 2014, Curiosity photographed a rock that looked unmistakably like a skull. Eye sockets, a nasal cavity, a jawline. The image went viral. NASA explained it as pareidolia, the human tendency to see familiar shapes in randomness, and that's probably correct. But some geologists noted the rock didn't match the surrounding formations. It appeared smoother, denser, and oddly isolated. Mars is capable of preserving structures for millions of years due to its thin atmosphere. If fossil-like formations exist, they could remain intact far longer than on Earth. No one has proven the skull is anything other than rock, but the image continues to fuel uncomfortable questions. Mars is also far more active than expected. In 2019, NASA's InSight lander detected seismic activity, Marsquakes. Scientists anticipated some movement, but not at the frequency or consistency recorded. Some quakes originated deep underground, not from meteor impacts or surface stress. Several of these quakes came from the same region, near ancient volcanic formations. Mars was supposed to be geologically dead, but the data suggests something is still moving below the surface. Magma, tectonic shifts, or something else entirely. And then there's Phobos. Mars's larger moon is strange in many ways. It's slowly spiraling inward, doomed to eventually break apart or crash into Mars. But its density is unusually low, leading some early researchers to briefly speculate it could be hollow. While that theory is no longer mainstream, Phobos continues to produce odd data. When Phobos passes in front of the Sunday, its shadow races across the Martian surface. Rovers have recorded these events multiple times. In some cases, instruments also detected unexplained electromagnetic fluctuations during the eclipses. The fluctuations don't match what scientists expected from a simple shadow. Some believe it's just instrumental noise. Others wonder if Phobos interacts with Mars's magnetic anomalies in ways we don't yet understand. When you step back and look at all of this together, the lights, the methane, the magnetic fields, the structures, the seismic activity, a disturbing picture emerges. Mars is not dead, it is not simple, and it is not fully understood. Every time scientists think they've figured it out, Mars does something strange. Maybe all of these anomalies have mundane explanations we simply haven't discovered yet. Or maybe Mars is still holding on to secrets from a past we don't fully understand. A past where water flowed freely, where the atmosphere was thick, and where something may have happened that changed the planet forever. Whatever the truth is, Mars refuses to be quiet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy exploring real scientific mysteries and unsettling discoveries that challenge what we think we know, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more out there, and Mars may only be the beginning.